Hello, everyone. My name is John Drennen, and I'm the sales manager at Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation in Las Vegas. And I'm back today again with our renovation expert. This is part 2 of 3. We're with Adam Levitt. He's the National Business Development Manager in our renovation financing department at Fairway. He's here once again to educate us, educate the consumer, educate the realtor. You know, if I pre-approve somebody and then I say, you know, they're going to be pre-approved in around a $500,000 range because we look at the payment and everything, a realtor is going to say, okay, well, let's remove all the cash and conventionals from them because maybe it's an FHA 203 or an FHA loan. Well, what people don't realize is for 3.5% down on an FHA 2 or 3K loan, they could buy a $400,000 house that maybe needs $100,000, give or take, in repairs and still only do 3.5% down. There are going to be some hoops to jump through, but that's why we have Adam on the phone, or on the Zoom call today, I should say. And of course, I've been doing this for over 26 years. This is what we do, and we do it every day. So even though it might sound scary, it's really not. So today, once again, we're going to talk about how down payment is calculated. We're going to go ahead and throw a couple more myths out there and let Adam squash those as the expert that he is. And we're also going to talk a little bit about purchases and refinances in regards to how much you can do. I have a call tomorrow with someone who owns their house free and clear. They don't know if they're going to move. They think they're not going to move, and their kitchen and bathrooms are completely outdated, not functional. Both clients are senior citizens, and they say, John, I think we're going to stay in this home for about 3 to 5 to 10 years. We're not sure yet. We might move closer to family, and I understand that, and that's very respectful. But if they do decide to do this, they are not in a position to just take a cash out refinance and try to figure this stuff out on their own. They need to really work through the whole process of the 2 or 3K FHA or the home style renovation. And we are on our episode 3 of 3. We're going to talk about those contractor qualifications, but that's going to be at a later date. So once again, without further ado, Adam Levitt, our National Business Development Manager in renovation financing for Fairway Mortgage. Adam, thank you very much for being on the Zoom call today.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate having me back again. And I like how you use the words like education and awareness, because for all of you out there that are listening, there's so many similarities from the get-go of you beginning your hunt for what's probably going to be one of the biggest investments you ever make. So when you come and you get pre-approved from John and he says you can afford X amount, that's the first domino that gets pushed over. So you know the price range of houses to look at. Your agent knows the price range of houses to show you, and location, location, location. So you may decide to spend more money on a house that's just a little further out, maybe, or a little bit smaller house in an area that you want. But here's the key. When you get that number that you can afford, you may buy a turnkey home. Great. John has given you a $500,000 number. But what happens when you find that home that, as we like to say, needs some new life breathed into it, or it could use a little bit of love, and it's asking $400,000, okay? And this is the question that I had when I first was looking for a home. So my agent is like, well, this home needs a lot of work. It can't even get a loan. I'm not even going to show it. Myth and misconception number 1, and we're going to blend stuff in there, because they should show it because you can get a loan, okay? Number 2, I'm a buyer and I walk into that home and I have no idea where to start in terms of thinking, do I have the money for the project? Not just to buy the home, because I know I got money to buy the home, but do I have money to make those upgrades that I feel like I need to make? Because I'm picky. And how much are they going to cost? That's number 2. So watch how we put these two together. So I know I can afford $500,000 because John has told me that my income and my assets qualify before that. My agent is showing me a home that is in whatever kind of condition, and it's asking for. Without even stepping into the home, John, all those folks need to understand simple math. If I can afford $500,000 on paper, and if this home is asking for the difference, which in that case is $100,000, is money I can use to go ahead and put in a new kitchen or a new bathroom or new flooring, or maybe fix issues. Maybe the roof is busted. Maybe it's on well and septic, and what you fill in the blank, whatever it is. So I pose this question just like I pose to all of our branches with all of our agents nationwide. How many agents there would now show properties they may not never have considered because now they know you can get a loan? Now walking in the door, instead of thinking, well, geez, I don't want to get my clients all really excited when they may not know how much they could afford. Now you do, you know? So when the clients walk in there, they're like, wow, it's almost like having a gift card. And then number three, all you do is put those numbers together. So as you were saying before, like with the combination, so $500,000 is my number. I may find a home that needs a lot of work. 400,000 is the purchase, 100,000 for the reno. That's 500. Maybe I fund one where it's just the kitchen and the bath, and it's asking 450, and it needs $50,000 worth of work. 450 plus 50 is 500,000. All it does is make you powerful in terms of walking into a property, knowing, okay, there's all these questions that I'm going to ask, but now I already know, and it's going to totally change my perspective before walking in the door. So I'm going to throw that back to you, John. And you just like, you know, again, I get excited about it because I didn't think I could do this as a buyer, and now I can. I'm an agent, and I didn't think this was possible, and it is. People just
I love it.
don't know.
I love it. And Adam, once again, I love how you just break it down and keep it simple. Yes, there's some other features and factors in there, okay? But yes, in general, the math is somewhat simple. You know, I always jokingly say we're not saving the manatees or curing cancer in the mortgage business, right? We're just trying to keep it simple and do the best we can. And in this situation, if the payment range in the locality that you're at, you know, maybe here in Las Vegas, or I do a lot of business in multiple states, you know, in Texas, Florida, California, whatever. Let's say we know the payment on a $500,000 house is X, and you find something for 400,000. It does give you that flexibility. Also, in certain municipalities, like here in Las Vegas, if your house is really worth 500,000, you're probably getting taxed at 500,000. If you buy a house that's worth 400,000, you're getting taxed at 400,000. So guess what? Your payment might be lower just because of the taxes, even though we go to 500,000 and renovate it. And those taxes may not creep up on you for another 2-3 years, especially in Las Vegas. If you're in Clark County, when you claim to be primary residence, there's caps on your taxes, so they can't just go out of control. So this is once again another great idea, and in a supply and demand problem. Once again, in the 1960s, we had this many housing starts, and then 2020 we had this many. We have a huge supply and demand problem. I just read an article. We went from 1.13 million homes in November nationwide to 1 million homes nationwide available in December. But here's the kicker. Those numbers are skewed because available homes still had people under contract and not closed. So really, the real numbers from NAR were 666,000 homes available nationwide, truly available. And we need like 1.4, 1.5, 1.6. So what do? We want to go in there and find these gems, right? Diamonds in the rough, turn them in a house into a home. And also, I do a lot of loans, and I'm being very, very respectful here because I follow the guidelines very clearly. People come in with their down payment and their closing costs. A lot of loans don't need reserves. And the ones that do, people have just enough reserves. They don't have an extra 20, 30, 40, 50, $60,000 to do the renovations, even in a house that's a turnkey in their mind. But
Can I stop you there for a sec?
It's huge. Go ahead.
I don't want to forget this. So you hit the nail right on the head. I'm walking into a home, and let's not forget. Let's just say that the home, and you know, I don't want to stereotype the Vegas market, but say it looks like it's from the 50s or 60s, right? The word, so someone's going to use the word mid-century, but what they're really trying to say, it needs to be updated or needs to be upgraded, you know? So the kitchen and the bath, they're deterring me from writing an offer because it's got cabinets down here, and I want to make it I need an island, whatever it may be. It's those homes right there that are perfect for renovation loans because of what you said. I'm walking into a home. I have my money for the down payment, but Lord knows I don't have an extra 30, 40, 50, 60K sitting in my bank account. So guess what? I can't buy this home because I'm picky and I don't want to move. Well, now you don't have to. So, I mean, how powerful is it? And again, I don't want to get into like really numbers, but if you're going to put down 3.5% on the total, okay, and we're just talking about borrowing an extra $50,000, okay, 3.5% of $50,000 is how much? It's like $5,000. That's it. So look at how much more money you're able to borrow. I don't have 50, but I got that little bit, and it just opens up things for you to be able to do so. And again, renovation loans are just personal because number one, it's a solution. Hey, I'm giving you a solution to help you buy the house and get to the point where you got this really cool dream kitchen, or you're actually finding a house that's a 3+1. And how different would your life be if you had that second bath? For those of us, like I grew up with two sisters, I had to share a bath. Okay. My therapist says I'll get over that eventually. When I got married, I had a one bathroom, right? My starter home, my wife and me, and then we had a baby. That second bathroom, just picture what it will do to your life.
Oh,
Three
yeah.
plus one, or master bathroom, oasis with an ensuite, add it to the existing master bedroom. These are little things that we do. So you might take what is currently not what you want and turn it into what you want when you didn't even know it was possible. And I'm sorry I keep doing that.
No, dude, you're excited. You're excited. I'm excited. So let's talk about what you just said. So first and foremost, I don't want to correct your math with there real quick, but 3.5% down of 100,000 is 3,500. So it's really less than $2,000.
Yeah,
$2,000, not
I
even
was thinking about that. Yeah,
No,
see,
it's okay. Don't worry about it. I love when your math's wrong and my math's right because it's even more exciting. Less than $2,000 there, Adam. That is awesome. Let me tell you about the house we bought. Yes, it's an HOA master plan, so I can't extend. I can't do those things. But since we've lived in our house, all walls been painted, floors, cabinetry, security doors. We've done so much to our house. Could you imagine if at the time I bought the house and I had the ability to do a renovation loan? That would have just been the cat's meow right there, right? So, I mean, I 100% agree that you can turn a house into a home. You can do all these different things. Don't be afraid, everybody, if you buy a house in an HOA or a master plan, as long as you're not doing anything structurally, then guess what? Most of the time, you don't need to truly get the HOAs okay because it's all internal. We're talking about kitchens, bathrooms. We're talking about flooring. We're talking about railings. What if you got a 2-story? I got a 1-story, but what if you got a 2-story? You want to do a railing. I have a gentleman here in Vegas. He does metal work. I mean, what if you wanted to do ornate wine cellar or whatever it may be? I mean, there's so much that can be done beyond, extending houses and stuff like that, that it's such an amazing product that people just don't know enough about. And that's the whole thing of this series, Adam. Education, education, education. And we're not just educating the client to get them excited to say, hey, maybe I want to do this fixer-upper, but we're also educating the realtors to say, hey, show them the fixer-upper. And then let's talk about another thing. And we're babbling a little bit, but this is really good stuff. People that flip houses, I know a lot of people personally, professionally that do, and I respect the heck out of them. But guess what? They're going in to do all the things that you were going to do, and then they're also making their profit. So guess what? That $400,000 house that has $100,000 worth of repairs in it, they're selling that darn thing for $550 to $560. You buy for $400,000, put your $100,000 into it, you're on the hook for $500,000. So not that I'm trying to hurt the flippers of the world out there. Once again, close personal friends. It's a necessary need. They got cash, they got crews, they got everything. I respect it. But at the same time, if you could buy the $400,000 house, put the $100,000 into it, get the general contractor, use the different systems in place that the different renovation loans do to protect you. You got to understand, we don't just say, hey, Mr. Contractor, once again, we're going to talk about this later in the next episode, but we don't give the contractor $100,000 and hope he shows up the next day. There's a lot of ways that we protect people. Okay.
Yeah,
now, Adam, let's talk about a couple things, and these are going to be more general. What are things that you can't do? What are things that people think are improvements to their home or wish list that you just say, hey, we can't allow? It kind of elaborate maybe on 2 or 3 of the ones that people would love to do, but these renovation loans just won't let you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So because I live in LA, I always tell people you can take the street, you can take the freeway, depending on traffic. Same thing with renovation loans. There's different streets you can take. So let's talk about the best one first. Conventional renovation loans allow you to do everything other than tear a house down and rebuild it. So just think about this for a second, okay? You are in a market where the outdoor is vital to extending the square footage. I'm sure there's a lot of folks out there that could use this. What if John was able to finance, and it doesn't matter if you're buying the house or if you're refinance it where you live there, but you know what? I finally am going to put in that in-ground pool with an outdoor kitchen and a backyard gazebo and just vision whatever you're going to do. And you could finance it using a conventional renovation loan. A lot of folks don't know that. Now, how about like a traditional stereotypical, the house is going to huff and puff and the foundation issues and there's mold and there's pest infestation and there's bees and the roof. Those are all traditional things that you can do too. So again, just these luxury items are a fantastic way to help somebody because, again, if you're talking about a home that someone buys where they can extend the outdoor and use that as entertaining space, especially during COVID, why would you not want to let them say that you can go ahead and consider it? And, while I'm at it, I might as well say this. So we talked a lot about purchases. If I'm an agent out there and the seller of the property does not want to give me enough time as a buyer to get all my ducks in a row, but I use the concept of a renovation loan where after John writes the purchase and now the seller is out of the picture, the loan is closed, the agent gets their commission. Now as a buyer, I'm living in there. Let them take their time and figure out what they want to do. And now they can come back to you, John. And of course, they can refinance. Or the existing customer that wants to build that second story or put on the second bath or add 1,000 square feet or whatever they want to do. Those are all typical, especially like you said, I can go out and find a house that somebody has bought and flipped and, I have to pay whatever it is for them. But what if I can go ahead and turn my existing 3+1 into a 4+2 or whatever you want to do and finance the cost of that with limited or no money out of pocket because you only need equity, a little bit of equity based off the finish thing. So there's just so many ways that that we can help people get to the finish line in terms of this is what I want the finished product to be. How do I get there?
Love it. Love it. Love it. Now, are there any restrictions on the 2 or 3K FHA loan? Is there any quote unquote wish list repairs that the FHA 2 or 3K loan will not allow you to do?
So the FHA loans don't allow the luxury items. So you can fix an existing pool. You just can't build a brand new in-ground pool. And you can't do any of the like the backyard gazebo and stuff like that. And then you would probably want to advise your customers in terms of like your borrowing power. So FHA loans kind of have a limit on exactly how much you can borrow just based on the county that the property is in. Whereas conventional loans just allow you to borrow significantly more and stuff like that. But we're talking about single family homes. We're talking about condos. We're talking about multifamily as long as it's going to be where you invest in. And there's multi-generational opportunities. There's wealth building. There's just, and like you said earlier about the example, think about this. 70% of the loans that we did last year had built-in equity, not including the down payment, because the houses were either in disrepair, they needed some love, they were being marketed less, they were on the market, they languished. So the buyer ended up getting a good deal on the house. And then when they breathed new life into the property or they fixed what happened, it ended up appraising more than what the combination of what they bought it for plus the reno budget was, not including their down payment.
Well, guess what? Think about that. And what did that extra equity? That's what the flippers are making as profit. Once again, so this is for the individuals who want to live in these homes, who want to turn a house into a home. They don't want to buy a house with a traditional loan and then come out of pocket with $100 grand. We can actually finance that. There's so many things that we can do. So once again, Adam, I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you have done today. Next time we connect is going to be number 3. We're going to talk about contractor qualifications. We are going to talk about different, a little bit more like the different mathematical formulas, a little bit more precise. It's not going to be as long as a video as this one, but we're really going to talk about once again the FHA 2 or 3K, the conventional home style renovation. We're going to just throw a couple more examples out there, continuing to educate the consumer and the realtor. And remember, the next time you're pre-approved, and I want to reiterate once again, Fairway's licensed in all 50 states. I'm licensed in 18 states. So don't think that you can't move to Tennessee and buy a house that is quote unquote a fixer-upper. So when you talk to your agent, if you're moving there, unless you just say, John, I just 100% don't want to do this, there's diamonds out there. Okay. We're going to help you find those diamonds in the rough. So when you talk to your agent, let's talk about, hey, I want cash conventional only. And if it's FHA, let's look at FHAs and let's look at all the ones and why are the cash conventionals out there? Maybe the seller just doesn't know. But most of the time, they say it won't meet lending standards. And that's why 100% the renovation loans are so popular. They've been popular. We're bringing them back. Okay. I used to do these a lot in 2020, or I'm sorry, the early 2000s. and then the economic collapse happened, and then everything was so cheap, everybody just paid cash. Now we're evolving to an extreme supply and demand problem. And I'm so glad that my dear friend Adam Levitt once again took time out of his schedule. He is our National Business Development Manager for renovation financing. His Zoom calendar is full every day. So once again, I'm so glad that he squeezed us in for this wonderful educational series that we're going to do. Once again, this is 2 of 3. We're going to do one more here coming up soon. Really kind of bring it all home. And like I said, Adam, I'm just glad that you took time to really take to allow us to educate our consumers and our realtor partners.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm always willing to spread the gospel, and I'm looking forward to getting together next time so we can talk about timing. And, at the end of the day, just trying to make everybody confident and comfortable in the process. So I appreciate your time always. Thank you.
Yeah, and I love how you just added that timing thing. That was one thing I did want to mention, and I'm so glad. Guys, this is not the 1980s movie Tom Hanks and Shelley Long Money Pit, okay? So this is not you're going to buy this house and it's never going to be finished. There are time limits, there are constraints, there's requirements, and that's why we're going to really vet your contractor, make sure he or she is up to snuff. They have everything in line, and you're going to have different consultants that are going to help you along the way. So Adam's going to talk about those qualifications, the timing of everything. And once again, Adam Levitt, thank you very much for being here. I'm super excited for our next one. It's going to be 3 of 3, and everybody have a wonderful day, and we'll be talking to you soon.